y'all doing? My name is Randa Stratton-Dutcher, and this is Going Dutch, a podcast that calls from my heart to yours. Thank you for coming to visit. I believe that we learn more about ourselves in the listening of others, and it is my hope that in sharing, you will hear the messages and call God is sending to you. So wherever you are, know you are loved and cared for. Take a deep breath. Let's have a chat. Welcome to the Going Dutch podcast. I have an awesome, amazing guest today. I'm going to read your bio, first of all.
Okay, go ahead.
And then I'm going to tell people who you are to me. So his name is Jeff Vukobratovich.
You should know that by now, too. I was hoping you were going to nail that.
Or Vuk.
Vuk's easier, yes.
All right, so Jeff Vukobratovich is a 39-year-old Arizona native born and raised in Gilbert, currently residing in Queen Creek, happily married to his incredible wife, Jessica, and the proud father of two daughters, 4 and 8, Olivia and
Susie.
Yeah. They're adorable.
They are.
And they make really good salsa.
Yeah, did you like that?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. It was good. It had a kick, for sure.
Does. Well, Dad likes it spicy. And believe it or not, my little Caucasian light-skinned girl likes it really spicy, too. So I'm like, all right, let's do it.
I love it. Jeff has been deeply involved in fitness industry, owning 2 gyms from 2010 to 22. His passion for fitness coaching eventually intersected with the world of real estate in 2020. And in April of 2022, he made a strategic decision to sell his gyms and pivot entirely to real estate, which was sad for our community. Today, along with his 2 partners, he's on a mission to revolutionize the real estate market, but his interests don't stop there. He's devoted to personal development, life hacking, and helping others unlock their full potential. Along with balancing his career ambitions, he places a high emphasis on family, aiming to raise 2 strong, educated women and build the healthiest marriage possible. Yep. He's also in the early stages of developing a life coaching program with more details to come at the beginning of 2024.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Potentially. It's just when it's ready, it's ready.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping sometime next year I'll have it put together enough to get it out there. But that's the goal.
Well, that's you're in a perfect segue because you need to go follow Jeff on Instagram. And let me just say who Jeff is to me. So Jeff's
tell the backstory real quick.
Jeff's like my little brother, but not but. So he grew up with my little brother. You're the same age as Nick.
Yeah, same age.
I watched him play basketball all growing up, and love his family, such a good family. And then when Aaron and I remarried, that's when you had your gym, and Aaron joined your gym. And Aaron loved it. He was a team fit guy.
I don't think if I knew initially that he was married to you. I think I found that out down the road, and I was like, wait, what? But anyway, go ahead. Sorry to cut you off.
I came and worked out for 6 months, but my butt and legs got bigger, and I was like, I'm out. I can't go up another size. I'm only 5 foot.
It was just all about the release of stress, and those workouts were just tough back then.
They were good.
I was. Yeah.
They were good.
Cracking the whip.
I did see results. Some I did want. I got a lot stronger. I really did. I went to throw a saddle on a horse one day, and I remember I just used my typical oomph, and the saddle almost went all the way over, and I was like, whoa.
Must have been that heavy slam ball you were throwing around.
Probably.
Kettlebell you were swinging.
The frog jumps.
There you go. Oh, yeah.
And his wife, Jessie, she's a force to be reckoned with. So
in many ways.
Very, very good family. We love you guys. You're awesome.
Thank you.
So
you guys likewise.
I actually invited you, I think, last year to be on the podcast, and then I took a break. And
no, I'm glad we got this opportunity to finally do it.
So if you don't follow Jeff, he is really dedicated to, I would say, a myriad of things, but if I had to hone it in my words, I would say excellence. You're very fit. You're very dedicated to your health. You're dedicated to your family, to real estate, to Gilbert. And you have a routine and you stick to that routine.
I do.
So if you ever need to know someone that not only talks the talk but walks the walk, that your name always comes to mind. That person.
No, that's amazing, because that's the example I want to be, right? I feel like success is weird, right? Because a lot of people just attribute one area to success. And so For me, it's across the board. Like everything's got to have its place. Everything's got to be in line. You got to be dedicating time, effort, and intention to everything, right? And that's hard for a lot of people. It was for me for a long time because I had so many things, so many distractions out there. And so I just really had to narrow my focus. I said, hey, what's important to me? This, and this. And that's what I'm going to focus on. And, you know, a lot of my friends right now, my neighbors, they probably hate me for it because, you know, I'm not the old person I used to be where I would, you know, join the group text all the time and go have beers with the guys and watch sports and talk about them. You know, it feels weird because now, you know, I used to know all the sports and, you know, all the stats and who's playing. And now sometimes like, wait, they had a game last night. Who was it? But it's just this season of my life, right? Like this is my focus now. It's, you know, my career switch. It's obviously personal development. It's my wife, my kids, and just melting that all together. Yeah. Because that's ultimately what makes us, right?
Yeah. Let me ask you this question because I guess, I don't know if I would say I'm in personal development, maybe slightly, but I find that having that focus of dedicating myself does take me out of a lot of things because I want to be my very best when I'm talking to other people. Do you think that that's part of the shift in focus, or is it family, or is it a lot of little things?
Well, you know, it all starts with you, you know, and what you present to everything, because the energy you bring is the energy you get back. So if you come with bad energy, negative intentions, you know, you're not authentic, like you're just going to get that in return. So for me, it was more of like looking in the mirror and saying, hey, like, who are you? What do you want to do? What do you want to present to the world? What do you want to contribute to? What do you want to be a part of? What do you want people to look at you and say, hey, this guy does this. This guy really is a good example of how to be a dad, how to be a husband, how to, you know, focus on his career and focus on doing something passionate with his life to a certain degree.
Yeah.
You know, he's a great friend. You can call him and he'll help you. Not just physically with something like moving, but like mentally or spiritually. Like, hey, he's got good advice. He's been there. And that's what I'm all about is like, you know, I think we always think we have to have some profound thing to teach, but really it's just about what we've been through and how we've healed ourselves or how we've gotten through it. Yeah. And that's who we're supposed to be. And that's who the people we're supposed to help is the people that haven't got where we are yet. Right. Like we look back and say, hey, you're where I was, you know, a couple years ago. Let me tell you my experience and how I got through it. Yeah. And not like in a way, like an arrogant way, like, oh, do this, do that, you know, but like, hey, this is what helped me. Yeah. And I know it can probably help you too.
Yeah. Do you know who Evan Carmichael is?
Don't.
I don't know what I would call him. A motivational speaker. He's an author. Anyway, he told me when I was trying to figure out like who my niche is, and I still really don't know what that is. Like every time I pray about it, God's like, it's the people, Randa. Quit being distracted. Yeah. But he told me, your people are the people that are like 10,000 steps behind you. Like you're not where Oprah is or Tony Robbins. Like they're on step 150,000. Right. But you might be on 30 or 40,000. So the people you're talking to are on step 1 to 29,000.
100%. Yeah.
And so I think you're right. It's being authentic and then being able to connect to other people's pain that was yours. That's what people want. They want to be
And that's
seen.
who you're meant to be drawn to and who's drawn to you, I think. Yeah. And I mean, honestly, there's no shortage of problems and there's no shortage of people. So like you're going to help some, you know, even if you're just throwing this wide net out there. For me, it was the same thing. And I was like, hey, who can I relate to? But then as I started posting stuff and really just throwing all my ideas out there, people started coming to me. Yeah. Hey, I struggle with that. Hey, I'm right there with you. Hey, I'm thinking about doing that too. How'd it go for you? You know? Yeah. And then you start to see like these different people coming in and you're like, all right, this is who's really coming after what I'm saying. So, you know, I know they're listening. And other people too, like, hey, that's really cool, Jeff. Like, I really appreciate you posting that. Or, hey, I've been through that too. So you'll get people that relate. But, I mean, do you have to niche it down? Maybe. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you're just general ideas and processes and they work for everyone.
Yeah. I finally decided to just put the finger to it and like, no.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to.
If I'm for you, I'm for you.
And if you're giving out what you feel is great information and experience, then just give it out, you know? I love that.
So let's rewind a little bit and tell me, like, you grew up playing ball. Yep. Did you go to college? I don't even know if...
Yeah, I went to ASU.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a bachelor's in kinesiology. Okay,
because you're eloquent. If you read Jeff's posts, his stories, like, he's eloquent. I don't know if you're chat GPTing that.
And some of them I do.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get writer's block and I'm like,
How do I say that?
yeah, how do I say this?
Yeah.
But I do write a lot, and so
Yeah.
I try to put my words out there, and then, sometimes I'll chat GPT it just to get another idea where I'm like, yes, let's rewrite that like this.
Yeah.
So it's a tool. It's a great tool. And I think
Yeah.
everyone should be
for
using
sure.
it for sure,
sure.
but all of my posts usually come from me. That's the initial thought right there.
Yeah.
That's just a stream of consciousness going straight
Yeah.
to my phone.
Well, I think you have to put the thought when you use ChatGPT. You have
No,
to
you
put the
do,
thought,
yeah.
so I think there is some ownership there. I didn't mean to disrespect your
No,
process. But you are eloquent. So how did you went to ASU for kinesiology, and that just led you into owning gyms?
Well, no. So after college, I still had no idea, like most people. What am I going to do? It's 2009. We had the recession going on. No one's hiring. Like, what am I going to do? So I had a girlfriend at the time. I said, hey, let's go to San Diego. Let's try something new. So we moved out to San Diego. Didn't even last a year. There's nothing out there. It's expensive. So we're like, listen, we're running out of money. We got to go back to Arizona. We got to figure this out. So we decided to come back to Arizona. And usually when you graduate with a degree in kinesiology, you have three options. Like you can be a physical therapist,
Okay.
like your dad kind of. You can be a PE teacher, or you can be a personal trainer.
Okay.
I mean, what else are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
I mean, you can go to med school and do all that stuff, but I was like, not for me.
Yeah.
Barely got through the first 4 years. All right. So, and I have certain standards where I'm like, all right, well, I don't want to really go work for someone. It's just not me, So
Yeah.
I got to check physical therapists off the list. PE teachers don't really make a lot of money. I mean, it's a great gig probably for a lot of them, especially the schedule. But I was like, hey, I have a certain amount of money I want to make.
Yeah.
And then when it came to a personal trainer, I was like, all right, they make the money. They have their own schedule. They don't really work for everyone a lot of the time. But I'm going to be putting in like 50 hours a week to do this. So I said, how can I find something different? And then that's kind of when like the boot camps are really like just popping up. Like you saw a few here and there. And I really kind of dove into the model. And I was like, that model makes the most sense to me. And I said, hey, I could really revolutionize this. Like I could do something cool with this. Like I just had great ideas for how I would do it, how I'd make it different. So in 2010, I started it up. No one, not a single person. I'd call a few friends. Hey, you want to work out? Oh, I'm busy. Hey, Mom, what are you doing this afternoon? You want to try training with me? No, that's not my thing. So, I started from literally the ground. And, slowly built it up over time. The only way you could really advertise in 2010 was Craigslist. So I had advertisements on Craigslist. I had
Wow.
texts out to friends. And then, I would say, hey, if you got anybody that's interested in working out, tell them to come try it for free. And we started in a park, minimal equipment. I'm making a lot of my equipment out of, funny things like PVC pipes and this and that. And it was funny. If you look back, it's kind of comical, but it evolved. And finally, we got into our own space. We got a huge gym indoors, started buying regular equipment, dumbbells, kettlebells, bands,
Yeah.
Barbells. And grew it to a couple hundred members. Probably had over a couple 100,000 people come through the doors over the years, which is, I think, a success because it was just me
For sure.
and my wife. She wasn't my wife at the time when I started it, but eventually she became my wife. And we ran everything on our own. And so, yeah, we did that for 10 years before we opened the second gym. And that was supposed to be in Queen Creek. It was in Queen Creek. And that was supposed to be a youth training facility because all the parents that worked out at Team Fit were like, hey, my kid needs a place to go too. So,
Yeah.
hey, why not spread myself a little thinner? Let's open a second gym. And,
Yeah.
now that I'm up from 3 a.m. until noon training you guys, I'll just go from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. training your kids. And
How'd that go?
so anyway, you can tell by the tone of my voice, that's kind of the reason I got out of the gym industry
Yeah.
and transitioned over to real estate.
You just felt burnt.
I felt burnt, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was emotionally tired, physically tired. I had young kids. I had a wife that got her real estate license in 2018. So she was trying to grow her career. And here I am sucking up all the time,
Yeah.
in energy, just trying to run this gym in COVID, obviously had its challenges. And
Yeah.
we figured out how to get through those, but they took a toll, and
Yeah.
so that was, I forget the original question you asked me. I went on such a tangent there.
No, that was great. I guess I have a second question.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what the original question was, but the question I thought while you were saying that is, did you ever have a day where you're like, I mean, even in the middle or the beginning when you're in the parks, like, what am I doing?
Oh yeah, every day. Every day. And that's part of, and I know a lot of times you like to use the a breakdown that led to a breakthrough.
Yeah.
And that was it. I mean, there were so many breakdowns I had where I would go home at night. I would show up at 5 a.m. and no one would show up. Get my my floor all set up on the basketball court at the park. And, I got this workout written out. Sitting there looking. It's 5 a.m. It's 5:05. It's 5:10. No one's coming. So I'd pack it all up, go home. I'd come back at 9 o'clock. And, I had a lot of stay-at-home moms and not a lot, a few stay-at-home moms at the time that would come. And, one or two of them would show up. And this went on for months. And I was just like, oh, dude, maybe I just picked the wrong thing,
Yeah.
So I'd sit back and try to figure out, and study like, okay, how can I get them to come try my workouts? And it took time, it took resilience, it took patience, and, took about 1.5 years before I really said, okay, at least I have one person showing up to the times I have designated.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was 5. And then after that, it was 10. And eventually, after a couple of years, it was like 20, 30 people showing up to a class. And then I had to cap them. I said, hey, listen, I can't take any more in these classes. So I had to open up another time slot. That would fill up. Open up another time slot. That would fill up. And it was a good feeling, finally you're just like, all right, all of this, dedication and time's finally paying off.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was hard in the beginning. And there was times I was like, dude, I'm going to go get and see what jobs are available right now. I'm on Craigslist searching jobs and I'm like, no, don't do it. Like, you just know, like, just deep down in your heart, this is not, you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm not making any money. I just out of college. I don't have any money. I'm just living in my parents' basement, literally, like that story type thing.
Yeah.
And then finally, it's a funny story. My wife now, she had actually had a rental not too far from where I was staying with my parents. And after a while, she's like, hey, I got a room. Do you want to move in? We weren't really dating at the time, but I was like, yeah, I would love to. So then that blossomed our relationship into what it is today. But yeah, it was one of those stories, where you start from the basement of your parents' home and you kind of grow it up. But yeah, it was fun, and I love doing it. And I deeply miss the relationships that I had.
Yeah.
And I still have some of them, but just the day in and day out conversations and stuff that
the social aspect.
Yeah, get to know those people and what they're about, and help them physically and also help them mentally. And a lot of, I can say, sorry if I'm just running on here.
No, you're good.
A lot of the things that I focus on today stemmed from just the issues that I would talk about with these people and be like, man, like, yeah, they're really struggling here. Mm-hmm. They've expressed a lot of concern here. They just can't seem to get over the hump with this. And, so I would struggle with some of those same things, or I knew I was, at the time I would obviously be the coach and be like, oh yeah, this is good advice. I would do this. And, at the time I wasn't really doing it fully either. So, when I did close the gyms, that was one of my focuses. Hey, everything that you had talked to someone about or gave them advice on, you need to go be that. Yeah. You need to go figure that out and deeply, really figure it out for yourself, so that when the next time comes around, whatever the next business is you're in, whether it be real estate and dealing with clients that way, if there ever, is another gym, which I don't know if there ever will be, but I've had clients reach out. Or my life coaching program, which is really where life is pulling me these days. Like, hey, like, go put this information out there, tell people how you did it, tell people how you sustain it, and tell them it's possible for them to do it too.
Yeah. Wow. See, people.
Yeah.
Walks the walk, talks the talk. Well, and I think what I want to say about Team Fit is you did create a family, because like Aaron and I go to EOS, I walk. He goes and works out. We don't talk to anybody. I'm listening to my podcast. He's watching reels and sending them to me every 10 seconds.
Get off that machine, Aaron.
He likes the elliptical.
Oh, no. We cut that out.
Then he goes and lifts weight. And this is after he goes and works out with Travis. He just goes to be with me. So this is like second workout. But it's like there's no connection. I don't know anybody there. Yeah. And so Team Fit was like, it was a family. And then you had family events, like kids could come on Saturdays or like we had a relay race. I remember that. And also the competitiveness, like that was super fun.
Yeah, no, it's something that I wanted to make a part of that program because it's what was missing. Back in 2010, you had the big gyms, you had the Gold's gyms and the LA Fitnesses, or you could go hire a personal trainer. There was nothing in between. There was nothing that built that camaraderie, the community, the social aspect, or even the type of workouts, you know, just the efficiency of it.
Right.
Because not many people can afford to go pay $50 a session for a personal trainer, you know? And so back then, and I feel like I was giving it away, but I was making it affordable for everyone. Yeah. And I didn't have a ton of expenses, so I didn't care. I was like, $100 a month, come as much as you want, it's fine. Right now, if I said that to someone, they'd be like, yeah, can I sign my whole family up? You know, because right now training's so expensive too, and it's just like everything. But yeah, that was my goal, is to make it something more than just a gym, something more than just, you know, go lift some weights, be by yourself, which is sad because that's what I like to do. But
to be alone?
Yeah, it's my time of solitude, you know? Like it's my time to think and my time to decompress and my time to just be with me.
Yeah.
And it's hard even at the regular gyms because there's so many people and distractions. Then you get to talking to a few people and then, you know, pretty soon you see them every day. And so you have conversations with them. And, if I had it my way, and I might do this too, I'd just have my own gym. I'd work out by myself every day. And
are you an introvert? Are you an
yes and no.
Extroverted introvert?
Maybe, yeah.
Like you need space and time.
Oh.
If you're in a crowd, you definitely have to decompress from that.
I don't mind being in crowds and in social situations, but for me, I just have to have a time, and this is scheduled. Like you say, your schedule is like to a T. I have to schedule in solitude time.
Yeah.
Like, and I think everyone should do that. Time where you just go with no distractions. And for me, it's the simplest way to do that is 2 or 3 times a week. I'll just go on like a 4-mile walk. And
tell us your schedule.
Oh, geez. On the daily, it's alarm goes off at 3:30 a.m. And some people think, 3:30 a.m., why does he do that? Well, it's because I have to start my day a certain way for it to flow a certain way, for my energy to be right, for my, you know, my path and my systems to all be in place. And I'm not some crazy like Nazi type person where it's like, you know, a schedule is so strict, it's boring. It's not how I am.
Right.
But for me, the first 3 hours of the day, it's for me. And it's for me so that the next, whatever you want to say, 9 hours of the day, 10 hours of the day, I can give to everyone else. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yep.
If I get my workout done, I get my journaling done, I get my blog post done, I get my first meal in, I get all this stuff done, and then I wake the girls up and the day starts.
Yeah.
And so I'm in a better physical place, mental place, and I'm prepped for the day.
Right.
A lot of times people just wake up and go right into, you know, the news, their kids get up and like their day's already in disarray, you know?
Yeah.
Someone else is telling them what to think from the news. The kids are requesting things, so they have no time to themselves.
And then breaking down, so then they're breaking down. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you didn't set yourself up for the day.
Yeah. You
know, you just went right into it. You just cold plunge the day, which, you know, I hate. And I know you love them, but...
I don't love it. I love the effect.
Yes. But yeah, so for me, I need to warm up the day. And so yeah, I'm up at 3:30, alarm goes off, go straight to the closet, get my gym clothes on, get to the gym. I do a little coffee, get to the gym, start my gym workout by 4:10, home by 5:15 ish, and then my wife's up, so it's her turn to go to the gym. Mm-hmm. So now I'm home, quiet house, kids are still in bed. That's when I usually sit down. I'll either listen to 10 minutes of something on a podcast or I will read for 10 minutes. And then I get on the computer or the phone, and anything that comes to my mind, I just kind of sit quietly, type it out, write it down on the phone, let it marinate for a little bit. So I have quiet time that way. Eat my first meal, which I am on a regiment. So my first meal is scheduled every day at a certain time, and it is a certain meal. And then I will... Usually it's about 6:30 by then, 6:45, and I get the girls up and get going. So it's a basic routine. It's nothing that's crazy, you know. I don't do like weird naked meditation or, you know, freezing cold shower and like, you know, like I don't know. It's just people I think sometimes just over exaggerate what it needs to be.
Yeah.
And it's just got to be something simple, something you could do every day that gets your mind right.
Yep.
Gets you prepared for the day.
Yeah.
And helps you so that you can be productive for yourself and for those people that you interact with or that you love.
Yeah. So I'm going to kind of tangent on that.
Yep.
My friend Jessica Teachin, she is, I don't know what you call her. She teaches neurology, kind of.
Okay.
She's not a neurologist, but she's learned this program called MBIT, Multiple Brain Integration Training. And so you have neurons in your head brain, your heart brain, and your gut brain.
Okay.
So she told me this yesterday, and I just think it's fascinating, that you have mirror neurons. So we know, like, monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah.
Like, what you're doing, you're teaching your kids. What you're doing on your stories, you're teaching people. And then the other neat thing that she told me, like, this is scientifically based. It's not just like something our parents said.
No, I believe it, yeah.
That people have anywhere from 30,000 to 120,000 neurons in their heart. People that are super healthy and live a long time have in the 6 figures. People that don't have in the lower figures. Kids up to a certain age have 120,000 neurons. But you can't measure, they haven't been able to measure them while humans are alive. This is all
Obviously,
post-mortem that they measure, that they see how many neurons. Anyway, the cells in our hearts can only reproduce if they are connected to other cells in the heart. Nowhere else in the body do cells need other cells to reproduce. But only in the heart does it need to be connected. Heart failure occurs when these cells split apart and can't reproduce on their own.
It makes 100% sense. I mean, that's your scientific answer.
Right.
And then you just know intuitively, too, that's the answer, right?
Right. And so when people say, like, you'll learn this as you coach people or as you've coached people, like when you can get them to have a plan, to feel good about it, and in your gut you feel motivated, like it's the motor.
Yeah.
When those 3 are connected, that's where change happens.
That's the path. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like, yes, the green light.
Like that's how you separate it all. So I don't know. That was just my thoughts while you were speaking. But I love having a morning routine. You know that I love a morning routine because I have to have that. Like,
Yeah.
I struggle with a lot of mental health. I don't know anyone that really doesn't. I feel like I'm pretty vocal about it, for better or for worse.
No, you're just transparent. Everyone does.
Yeah.
You know, anyone that says they don't,
But like
they're not being truthful to themselves.
I'm combating a lifetime of things. So like, and everyone, you're right, everyone is. And I just want people to have hope. Like, you can get through this. I'm not perfect. I don't exercise every day. Sorry, Jeff.
That's what the world lacks, though, right? Is just hope. Like, everyone's
Yeah.
out there thinking, like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
I can't get on a podcast and talk like that. I couldn't post something personal about
Yeah.
myself. I couldn't bear it. You know, what if
Yeah.
they judge me? What if, you know, like,
Well, that's the gift of expansion.
Yeah.
Like when you think, and I don't know if you felt this as you entered real estate, was it the same feeling as when you started the gym? Was it the same feeling as when you went to ASU or when you went from WHAM to high school basketball? Like, was it the same, like, oh, this is something new and it was exciting, or was it scary so you expanded into it?
It's both for me. Like, I love to incorporate a little bit of both of those in there. So I feel like I need it to be exciting, but I also need it to be a little scary. Because if it's not scary, it's
Right.
probably not big enough. You know what I mean?
True.
But yeah, I mean, it was different. Getting into real estate was different for me because I already have 2 partners. One of them's a young friend too that actually played basketball with Nick and I.
Oh.
So we've known each other forever.
Okay.
So when I was asked to join them, it was something that was different for me because they had already started something. So I came in to help fill whatever voids I could, expand them however I could, and contribute to them however I could. So at the same time, they already had the knowledge, the experience in real estate that I needed. So it fast forwarded my career, my abilities. And right now we're just about filling each other's gaps, you know?
Yeah.
Whatever they're not great at, I try to help them fill, whether that's personal or in business or creativity, and whatever I need, you know, the same. They reciprocate that.
Yeah.
And that's what I love because it's not a corporate structure, you know, where everyone's got a title and, you know, you have to do X, Y, and Z. And if you don't, you know, fill this report. It's just 3 dudes running real estate and we're having fun and we're being creative. And that's what I love about it. That's what I did in my gym. You know, there was no set, like, hey, today's workout is this and you have to do that. You know, it was like, hey, let's have fun today. I'm going to put together a fun workout. Let's try it. Let's see if it works. And I think that's what people love. They didn't know what they were coming into.
Yeah.
They showed up, they did the workout, and they're like, dang, that was fun. That was good. Okay, I'm going to come back and see what tomorrow is. And it just kind of, they gravitated to that. And that's so, yeah, it's a little overlap, but it's kind of different too, because it's like the real estate thing isn't mine from the get-go. But I really appreciate what they started.
Yeah.
And I think it's great the way they're doing it. When I saw the way that they're doing it, I'm like, yeah, I could get on board with that. That's cool. So,
well, and they saw your gifts to fill in those gaps. Have you read Strength Finder?
no.
Send
me any of your good books too, because I'm always looking for good books. My wife hates it because I just order so many books. She's like, you can't even get through all those. I'm like, I will.
I have a huge stack, and I will get through a few chapters, get what I want, and then I
Sometimes
don't
I do
finish
that,
a lot
yeah.
of those. But Strength Finder, you can actually do a test, and you can do your kids can do a test.
Oh, so it's a website, not a book.
But it's a book as well. Okay. And it basically, I think for adults, it's, 50 to 100 questions, and it tells you your top 3, depending on how much you pay, top 3 to top 20 strengths. Mm-hmm. And then you have basement strengths that are like the opposite of your strengths, but they also help you in some ways.
Okay.
But they have it for kids too. And the kids test is maybe 20, 30 questions. It's super, super cool. So I'll have to send you that link.
Yeah.
My kids loved it. But basically you find out what your strengths are, and then you find out like, oh, I'm not a motivator, but I'm a connector. So like I need to find someone that's a motivator to match my connector so that we can work together and then get more done.
Yeah.
And it's really great for corporations, for teams, because then you find out who can work together, who needs who, and collaborate that way.
No, that's great. And I think it's like you said with the kids, that's what I've been on a kick lately too, buy my kids books. You know, they have mental toughness books for kids now that are young, and I'm like, every night we sit and we read. It's 2 pages. Like, it's a little story about a kid that does something brave or something like that. But I just think it's so important for the kids growing up in these days to have that. Yeah. Because the world will eat them up if they don't, you know, and we already see the way the world kind of is trying to spin everything, and the anxiety that it's causing, and a lot of the negativity that it breeds. Yeah. So
you send me that book.
Yeah, I think it's great. They have it for teenagers, and they have it for young kids. Okay. Obviously, you're probably in different phase that I'm in. Yeah. Your youngest is what now?
She just turned 11. I'm out of the little kids all of a sudden.
Yeah, you are.
It's weird.
Yeah, so you're a few years ahead of me.
I don't know. Maybe we'll have another one.
Stop it.
We won't.
Dutch 8, huh?
We won't. No. We can't expand.
No. You don't want to go back to the beginning again.
It's physically not possible anymore.
Okay.
I feel like we could talk forever and ever.
I know. You just tell me when you're done with me.
No.
That's fine.
I feel like I do have actually some other ideas. I want Aaron and Jesse to get in here. There's so many things I want to talk about.
I told Jesse that this morning. I was like, hey, we should do the 4 of us one time.
I wanted Aaron to be here, but he already had this trip planned, so he couldn't be here.
Let's do it. We'll set it up, though.
And then I want you and Aaron in here, too, talking about, like, men. We need, and that's another thing that I love. Like, you're showing how to be a real man.
That's my goal. And actually, I'll give you a sneak peek into what 2024, the program I have coming out. So I did niche it down a little bit. And so, like you said, there's just a lack of like true dads out there, I feel like. And I'm not knocking anyone because I know it's a hard job. Yeah. Like today's responsibilities and stuff, it just pulls you in so many directions. But
well, it's different to be a dad today than what we grew up with or our parents grew up with.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. But it also requires different kind of thinking too, you know, and to navigate the things of the world, whatnot. But yeah, so one of the programs I'm coming out with is and it's a working title, is Undeniable Dad. Ooh. So you are undeniable in all the areas that make you a great father, right? You're a great husband, you're a great provider, you're a great role model for your kids, you know, all these things that usually dads are good at one. Yeah. Or maybe 2, you know, like, hey, they make a lot of money, but they come home and they sit on the couch and watch sports all night. Yeah. Or they are overweight. You know, they don't take care of their health. Mm-hmm. Or maybe they're in great shape, but they're just not a great partner. You know, they don't connect with their spouse at all. Yeah. So my goal is to say, hey, let's go across the board. Let's just be great dads and all these things. And here's how I do it for this one, this one, this one, and this one. Like, here's your blueprint. This is what I did. This is what's working for me. This is actually what turned my marriage around. And I can tell that story later another time if you want. So this is it, you know, like, here's your blueprint and just go do it, you know, because there's so much conflicting information out there, but I made it so simple that I feel like if you can't do this, then really, you
Yeah.
just don't want to. It's just not a priority to you. But
Yeah.
so that's one. Yeah. It's like I said, I don't know if that's the name of it, but when someone's undeniable, you can't obviously deny any of the qualities or features that they have. And you say, yeah, like that person's real. That person does it. And that person's about what they say. So
Wow.
that's the goal.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Like very, very exciting.
I hope.
And needed.
I hope so.
No, it is. It is needed. It's too easy to be a complacent parent.
It is, yeah. It takes a lot of intention and mindfulness to do the right things, and you get so caught up. This is, one of the things I struggle with too is just that you think about everything else, and it gets you certain feelings of frustration, anxiety, whatever it is, and then you think about parenting last because you take it for granted. So like whenever your kids come home from school, you're just like, all right, I'm tired. Here's your snack. Like put your tablet on.
Yeah.
I got to think about this tomorrow. I got a meeting tomorrow. I got to come up with this. And so it goes on and on and on. And pretty soon, maybe you lash out at them once in a while because they're acting up. You threaten them. But so I realized, at some point, I'm like, hey, I got to have a different process for this. I got to have a different mindset approach. These are just kids. Like they don't know any different.
Yeah.
So I had to really kind of go and introspect on that a lot. It's like, hey, how can I come and be present for them in a positive way and impact them in ways that they're going to come to me when they do have an issue. They're going to be able to confide in me. Any feelings that they have, they're going to see me working out, and what that does for me. They're going to see me eating healthy and want to role model that, or model that. So yeah, parenting's a tough thing, and it takes a lot. It takes a lot a lot of restraint and a lot of mental maturity and intention to not want to do what the typical parents do, which is yell, scream, threaten, or even put hands on their kids, And I tell myself that if I'm doing any of those things, I'm not parenting right.
That is very true.
Yeah.
That's very true. Well, I'm excited for that.
So we'll see how it goes. I need Dutcher's opinion on a couple of things.
Well,
so
he's got his whole list. I can't remember all. It's the 6 P's. And 3 of them came from our church: protect, provide, and preside. And then there's like 3 more he came up with. I can't remember what they are, but
that's cool. I know I need to get with him.
But he talks to our youth boys
Oh, does he?
quite a bit about that. Like, be a man, rub some dirt in it. No, I'm
right.
teasing. It's not like that.
No, but that's how it was for us.
But
and so like some of those things are true, right? But some of them are like, dude, like what were they saying? Like why were our parents telling us to do this? Like there's a better way to do that. And we need to think different, with our youth these days a little bit because they are tough, and we've seen it, you got a couple kids that are challenging you, I'm sure, or have, and you got to figure out, okay, what can I do at this point to help them progress in life and not just give them lectures and not just shame them and not just, because that's just naturally just like, get your stuff together, like, what are you doing?
Yeah. I think that the hardest part about parenting is that each kid is different and it doesn't work the same with everybody. And that's honestly the biggest frustration.
No, you have to have a huge toolbox. Yeah. Like you can't just have a hammer and
you
be
have to be super aware. You have to be very aware and intuitive of what that child needs, how that child's going to respond. Because some kids are motivated by money. Some kids are motivated by praise. Some kids are motivated by time. You have to figure out what are you motivated by, and then you have to be creative and 100%. Have the energy. You got to do your routine and have health so you have the energy and strength to be like, I'm going to help you. There was a quote by Joy B. Jones. I'm going to hammer it, but it's something to the effect of, I would rather my kids be sweaty and work now than have to be on the battlefield later.
Yeah. And it's hard because you want them to enjoy, you want them to like you, right? And you want them to have fun, and you don't want to feel like you're pulling the kid out of them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you're not instilling those values, those responsibilities, for, physical responsibilities as well as emotional responsibilities. Hey, I'm at fault right now. Hey, I take the blame for that, or hey, whatever it is, it's so easy for them to fall into the victimized trap too and feel like,
For sure.
And I just don't want my kids to grow up thinking like they're a victim of anything. Like you have the choice to be anything you want, succeed in anything you want.
Yeah.
And it's completely up to you. I'm going to show you how to do it. and I just don't want to have. I sleep better at night knowing that, okay, my kid didn't, I didn't buy her that Barbie that she wanted today, but we got time to read a book. I got to talk to her. We played a fun family game. We had a memory, or a laugh.
Yeah.
And, that's just for me, that's the fulfillment in it and where I want my family to go. And
that's prosperity.
even though she yells at me for not buying the Barbie, she gets over it. But
yeah.
So yeah, and like you said, it does take a lot to be aware of what each kid needs. And that's why I stopped at 2, Randa. Because I was like, I only got energy for 2. I don't know how you did 5, but...
Well, it was too fun making them, Jeff.
It's true. Hey, it's a good answer. It's a good answer. Aaron, I blame you a lot for that.
I will too. Well, we have gone a lot of topics.
Yeah, we've kind of gone all over the place, but it's been fun.
That's how I operate.
Yeah.
I squirrel quite a bit, but I super appreciate you coming in here and being a guest and offering up all that you did. One last thing, if you could tell my audience, like, if you could only tell them one thing that would either motivate them or just help them get through the day.
I think one of the best things that I've heard in a while is it's very simple, and it's be the person that you always needed growing up. It's be the person, that kept their word, be the person that was a great role model, be the person that you didn't have, you know what I mean? Fill those gaps in your life, not just for you, but for your kids, If your parents are out of shape, be in shape, Breaking cycles, I feel like, negative cycles that we all grew up with, and we feel like they're so deeply conditioned in us, and we feel like we can't break out of them. That's your goal right now. Your goal is to break those cycles for yourself, because that's going to trickle on, and that's what's going to change your generations to come.
Generational healing.
Yeah, it's just so sad when you see like a grandma that's unhealthy and overweight, and then you see the mom the same way, and then you see the 8-year-old girl who's just on the same path. It's like, who's going to break this for the family?
Yeah.
Or that's just one example, just physical health. But there's so many examples of like, financially, you can say the same thing. Like, oh, grandpa was broke. And then, my parents fought over our finances all the time.
Yeah.
Well, I'm telling my kid all the time, I don't have enough money for that. Like, don't, like you're just breeding that same financial scarcity and fear into them. There's so many topics you could go down with that. But I think that for most people, it's be the person that you always needed growing up. So fill those voids in your life for you and for your kids, and then break the cycles. That's just what we're all about.
Yeah.
You don't want to. Your kid doesn't want to see you being drunk all the time, being out of shape, not eating right, yelling, fighting with your husband or wife. Like, you're just doing such a detriment to them.
Yeah.
If that's the life you're living, or if you're just
you're not
die
really
hard.
living.
Yeah, you're not living. You just you live for sports, and you live for the cocktail, and you live for sleeping in. It was just so common. And I'm not judging anyone or condemning anyone. It's like I was there. You know what I mean? Like, it was not too long ago that I was just like, hey, thank God it's Friday. I'm going to watch football all weekend. I'm going to crack a beer at 10 o'clock and have the guys come over, and we'll do the thing, the weekend thing. And then Monday would roll around, you feel this guilt, this shame, and you're just like, dude, this weekend went by too fast. I just feel horrible. I try to shake it off Monday or Tuesday with a couple workouts, but then here comes Friday, and you do the same thing. So that was not a short answer, but like that was, that was just kind of what I would tell people. Like, hey, if you're stuck in a negative cycle in your life, you're generally the habits and the decisions that you make on a daily, weekly basis are contributing to the way you feel, and not only that, but contributing to the way that you're going to be raising your kids.
Yeah, and ultimately, what's the impact you're having?
Yeah. Decide how you want your kids to view you. Do you want them to come to you when they need advice and have an issue? And yes, you do. And then you also want them to not come to you too, because you've said, I've done so good at bringing you up and being an example of what you're supposed to be. Yeah. I was never like that at your age. My parents didn't show me this, so I wanted to show it to you, and now look at you.
Yeah.
Look at you go.
Yeah.
And it's never guaranteed. That's the thing. Everyone's like, well, what if I try and it doesn't work and my kid's just different? Well, is the worst thing that happens that you got better?
Yeah.
and that your kids saw something positive growing up, and that, now they have the decision to make, obviously. But
the almost certain future is if you don't,
yes,
you're just going to head in that same direction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then if they're that personality anyway, imagine what they're going to do with their generation. They're going to be even worse off. So that's just kind of my mindset, and what I would tell people is just that. Break those cycles, be who you needed. If you ever lacked confidence, you've ever lacked fitness, if you ever lacked financial education, learn that and teach that to your kids or to other people, and be the person that, now they can rely on for a source of information.
It's a great nugget. It's a great, great nugget.
I appreciate you having me on. This was fun. Yeah. So hopefully we'll do it again.
Yes, we will, with the 4 of us. And, well, we could do like 2 episodes. I don't know. We could do several. Tell people where they can find you, where you want them to follow.
I don't have a ton. I mean, Instagram is usually where I'm putting out. I have a blog and an Instagram. So Instagram, it's jeff.vuk. It's just my Instagram handle. So you can follow me on there. It's where I put a lot of information. And then I do have a blog on Substack, which I don't know how many people use that or not, but I found it was the easiest platform for me to use, and I just liked it. So I put a lot of my links to my blog through my Instagram too. So if you're on my Instagram, you'll be able to find a million links to each time I write a blog. And my Instagram is just a little bit more of a short blip of stuff that I do. Sometimes it's a video, which I've been slacking on lately. And then sometimes it's just a mental stream of consciousness that comes out. And then I usually take that information and write it into a more formal blog so that I can elaborate on it a little bit. But
that's good.
So yeah, those are the 2 places I'm putting out info. Like I said, I have a website that I'm working on in a coaching program or a life program. We'll see. I want to find a better name for it than that. But where I'll eventually put that website out, and people can go and join me in the way I live. And if they enjoy it, or not almost if they enjoy it, but like if they feel like it's a change needed in their life, and they just have looked other places and they're like, I can't figure this out, and I don't have $10,000 to go pay a regular coach, or not a regular coach, just, some high-end coach. Like, I can't just call up Tony Robbins and be like, hey, I got this problem. So maybe Jeff can solve it. He's been through some stuff, and so that's kind of the coaching program that I have in mind. But
well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
I'm excited. So you'll have to let me know so we can promote it. And go follow his Instagram and go check out his blog, because there's a lot of good nuggets in there too.
Thanks so much. And I appreciate everything you do too. It's great.
Thanks.
And don't think for a second that you're not making an impact, because you are. Like there's always people out there watching that are never going to say anything, right? Like it takes people even like a year, 2 or 3 before they finally reach out and say, oh, hey, I've been watching that for a long time. Thank you for posting that. And you're like, damn it, where you been for the last 3 years? Like, why couldn't you tell me that like 6, in the first 6 months? When I'm struggling over here. But I just know because, people are starting to do that to me. Like, 3-4 months down the road, crickets. And then all of a sudden it's like now 10, 20 reach outs. And then all of a sudden more people. And it's like, hey, it's really cool, really cool. I'm noticing what you're doing. I really like that. It's making an impact on how I feel. So
that's awesome.
Keep doing what you're doing too, because people are benefiting from it.
Thank you. That is the hope. That is the hope. And if anybody wants salsa.
Oh, yeah. You want to plug the salsa?
I do want to plug the salsa. It's like my daily lunch. Salsa and
yeah.
chips.
So my wife and my daughter, Olivia, my 8-year-old, went together or teamed up to make a salsa. So my wife has the great recipe that she discovered. And when she discovered it, I was like, you're going to keep making this all the time. It's super good.
Yeah.
Olivia joined in and started helping her. So then at one point we had an idea to start a little side business. So every other week, she tries every other week to make about 15 jars of salsa. And we just like to get them out to friends and family and people that, want to buy them. And I think it's great. It's better than any store-bought salsa I can buy. I mean, I'm a salsa snob too.
Yep.
So,
it's super good. And keep having her do some wall push-ups with the chips.
The girl's into gymnastics right now. I can't even count the amount of cartwheels she does in my house all day.
I love it.
Literally to the breakfast table, to the couch, to her room. She's just cartwheels like everywhere right now. And it's
adorable.
You got to watch out because you might get a heel in the face, but she loves it.
It won't last forever like that.
I know. It's fun.
Enjoy it. Well, thanks, Jeff. We'll do it again.
Yes, thanks so much for having me.
Okay.
Friends, thank you again for joining me. I hope you heard a message for your heart today. and that you'll come back again soon. Follow along on Instagram at Perfectly and Perfect Randa. In the words of my grandpa Stratton, do you know how great you is? Happy trails to you, and lots of love, my friends.